Tere tulemast Eesti Rahva Muuseumi teadusseminari. Tänane seminar on meil inglise keeles. So welcome everybody to Estonian National Museum Research Seminar. This seminar will be in English and we have a very special guest, Yuki Tokunaga from Tokyo University. So the floor is yours. Thank you for coming.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming to today's lecture. Although weather seems actually better. I mean, a couple of hours ago, I thought some rains, but I'm really happy that you could finally came to this seminar. As well, I also just arrived this afternoon from Vilnius, so I was really lucky that I could be here on time. And also I'd like to firstly thank you, Tenno, for the organizing this lecture. So the first, it was very coincidence, but I sent a kind of direct message to the museum, and Tenno took up this issue. It's a huge issue to organize this kind of lecture, and he really continuously supports on this, and also thanks to the technical team, and also thanks to the 4 museum members for organizing today's lecture. And also thank you for the audiences. I don't know how many see online, but still hopefully today's lecture is broadcast online, so I don't know how many in total might join this lecture, but I'm really happy to be here in front of you. So today's my lecture is about culture. Well, culture, culture means like it's really broad topic. It's really generally, it's very huge topic. And my set today is really ambitious topic. So ambitious theme. So what is culture and why culture matters? And subtitle is Japanese culture through the lens of traditional crafts. So today, mainly the next 1 hour, I'm going to talk about culture, more likely from the perspectives of traditional crafts. But by the way, I brought a kind of the small gift for everyone. I hope you enjoy it. I'm sorry. For the online audience, there's no cookies for that. So this is a Japanese cookie. I hope you like it. But before you try this, I have one small quiz, question. Whether you get the correct answer or not, still you get it as a prize, but still I want to give you one question. So my specialty is about culture. But right now I'm not researching especially about crafts. My research field is about old companies, the companies which have long history, especially in Japan. I wrote this cookie. And my question to you is that when this shop started business, which year? Or you can say that, I don't know. Yeah, or let's say that's also, okay, you can say that, okay, 100 years ago, I don't know, 50 years ago, 30 years ago, like that. Roughly, this is really small quiz, 150 years ago, so around 1875 or like that.
More?
200.
200, okay.
Can we ask hints, like where is it produced?
Oh, it's actually the city called Kyoto. So this is, traditional city. 400, right? So it's becoming like auction. So 400 is so the largest number, is it? Or I don't know, if anyone with things.
800.
800, okay, very good. All right. Okay. So the 800 seems the oldest, and the correct answer, I think. Well, I can say that it's 50% correct, and the 50% not correct. Right. So 50% not correct, because this company started business. After. So the correct answer was 1477. So it's 550 years ago. So quite a long time ago. But the history of this suite is dated back to 1,300 years ago. So well, I said that's why I said half correct and half not correct. So, but anyway, the correct answer of the opening year of the company is 1,400. And but by the way, it contains mainly wheat. Only 3 ingredients we use: sugar and egg. So if you have any allergy against it, I do not recommend you to try it. But by the way, I think it's enough for explore. And I think if you like it, 2 or 3, pieces, just take as you want. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
That's good.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Very good. Thank you so much. Right. So, okay. Let's go back to the traditional crafts. And before starting my presentation, firstly, I want to ask you. So, do you agree that culture is important?
Yes, of course.
Maybe 100%. 100%. Okay. Very good. Then my second question, and also I have third question. Then, what is culture? It's of course there's no correct, incorrect answer. But why culture is? What is culture? Oh, by the way, what is culture?
Anything people do.
Anything people do. All right.
And what is also shared among people,
Share
the
among people.
collective aspect also.
True. It's for example, maybe good example is, well, for example, I'm not sure about Estonian history, but at least we have, let's say, tea ceremony. This is, I think, good example. Everyone says tea ceremony is culture because firstly we drink tea with someone. Of course you can drink alone, but usually you host someone and you share something. And of course, tea ceremony itself is imagined or created by people, so human beings. So yes, correct. These two, I really got 2 definitions. Is there any other? What is culture?
It has some historical background.
Historical
and
background.
It's linked to some traditions, for example.
Yes, for example, like if you say like Japanese traditional culture, maybe we can say that, or judo, this is kind of the martial arts. It's kind of traditional, and also we have traditional dances, and we can say this is culture because this judo is created not only one person, but it has been passed down from the wrong century ago. So I hope maybe you're a bit shy. To speak in front of like everyone else, but I think there are several other versions about what is culture. And then the next question is why culture is important, right? For example, sharing. Well, yes, very very important, I think. But the question is why. And I think it's very difficult to answer. But asking this question to everyone, and usually I get the different answers. But usually there's so many different answers. But I think this is very great. But the question is, before that, so these are kind of examples of the culture. So some paintings, this is shrine, and also there is also like modern contemporary culture, like hip hop or different kind of contemporary arts, different kind of things. So yeah, it could be tangible, it could be material, it could be non-material, it could be modern, and it could be collective elements. So there are so many different elements on that. But the question is that right now, so I'm currently researching about old companies, but I used to research about traditional crafts. And I will tell you later, but the situation of Japanese traditional crafts is getting worse. Getting worse means, I will show you the statistics, exact statistics, but it's not a good situation. And I think that, this is my personal feeling, that maybe because this problem is coming from the fact that maybe not so many people have answered to what is culture and why culture is important. Because I mean, usually let's say, oh, good. So these are kind of examples. So we have traditional crafts called yakimono. This is ceramic. I mean, it could be cups, it could be some cups, it could be, I mean, anything, but related with the ceramic product. And if you go to Kyoto, you will see a cup. I mean, this is 250. This is kind of the really standard. I want to say that if there is kind of the from the, I don't know, 2 or 3 centuries before, then that price is, I need to add, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 zeros in addition to that. But it's really expensive. But if you, for example, I mean, just drink a cup of tea, or if you just have a cup of rice, I mean, then it's not always, I mean, traditional craft is necessary. So if you go to, let's say, IKEA, maybe the price of the ceramic is maybe cheaper. And even though, and on top of that, we have a shop called 100-year shop. So almost everything is sold at 0.6 USD. So it's really cheap. And still you will see ceramic product. And my question is, how it's possible, like 400 times price difference in these 3 categories? And obviously, and many people say that, oh, this is culture. So traditional ceramic is a culture. So yeah, of course, for them, I mean, of course, 250 USD is very, very cheap maybe. But for maybe ordinary people, just for, if you want, especially like functionality, okay, so I don't want the, I mean, very beautiful one. I need to drink only a cup of tea. And for that, I don't want to spend a lot of money on that. And the price is, of course, you see, it's a huge difference. But still, you see, because I mean, currently the situation of Japanese traditional crafts is worth thinking, because people are watching only about functionality. And those who understand, no, ceramics is traditional ceramics is very important, often say that this is important because it has cultural values. And again, what is cultural values? And as long as this kind of cultural value could be shared with other people, the situation of this traditional craft is sinking down and more and more. I mean, so this is, I'm going to discuss later, but so my research actually started from this point of view. So everyone agrees with that culture is important. Traditional craft is very nice, but not so many people buy and use that. And so, right, so it's, so this is really my first point of the research. And about myself, as Dan already mentioned, I'm currently working as a researcher at Tokyo University, and where my focus is on old companies. But I want to say that I'm not originally from the academic background. So I worked in Japanese company for around 10 years, and the final 3 years I work with Tokyo University. And Tokyo University said that it's very interesting. I mean, come to our institute, and I was invited to the institute. But 1 year and a half ago, I decided to change my career. I quit my job, decided to focus more on Japanese crafts and also Japanese culture. So, yeah, so I'm not really like, even though I work at university, but I do not have a specialty on, especially from the academic background. So I'm currently writing several articles on that, but my kind of passion and also my interest about culture started from more like kind of amateur kind of the starting. And but by the way, this is actually my second visit to Estonia, and first visit was it was almost 16 years ago. So when I was, when I was a university student, or when I was a kid almost, but at the time only visited Tallinn, So this is my first time to visit Tartu. But I have been to 92 countries giving this kind of lecture and also do some research in other countries as well. Yeah, this is kind of list of the so countries which I have lectured. So so every time I got invited, I usually do not say no. So once I got invitation, I go to any kind of the places. But this time, even I didn't get any invitation. I just came by myself. So I don't know whether I'm welcomed or not, but still, it's very my huge pleasure to talk in front of you. Right. So this is I will shortly talk about myself a bit more. And originally, I didn't pay attention to my own country, Japan. Japan was not, interesting country for me. So the reason is mainly because I was born in Japan, raised up in Japan, especially in Tokyo. And in Japan, the 97% is so-called Japanese people. People who identify themselves as Japanese. So if you go to, let's say, high school, junior high school, elementary school, everyone else usually speaks only Japanese. And everyone, and by the way, 3% means 1% are Chinese, 1% will be Korean. So 99% looks quite completely same. And usually, people speak Japanese fluently. So that's the main reason why I've never, for example, paid attention to Japanese culture because, nobody asked me. It's tea ceremony, it's fine. I've never, for example, drank matcha, for example, until, maybe 30. And it was actually in the Starbucks, actually, not the genuine, the traditional way. First time I tried Japanese traditional matcha was when I was 32, so only 3 or 4 years ago. So it was a bit really pity, but I think it's very natural. So that's why if you, come across any Japanese, maybe here or in different places, maybe ask any question about Japanese culture. Most probably, 100%, maybe they will not answer what you expect to get. But actually, I changed my mind after that. So I travel a lot. And especially when I was working in the company, I used to travel quite a lot, around the world. And if you go to the different countries, the main interest is about your country. So maybe if I go to, maybe here, maybe I come to here, and you see, and even though I get interested in Estonian culture, for Estonian people, you see, maybe their question is not about Estonian culture. Their question is about Japanese culture. So yeah, it's every time I'm asked this kind of question. By the way, the first question about Japanese culture was when I studied abroad, and the local taxi driver asked me one question. So he said, "You're from Japan. Well, I have a question." I said, "Oh, yeah, sure." He said, "What is wabi-sabi?" And what is wabi-sabi? I even didn't know any answer to that. I have heard several, wabi-sabi words because usually some Japanese restaurants abroad have named wabi and sabi, but I have no idea what is wabi-sabi. And later on, what is the essence of the Japanese tea ceremony, Japanese verb arrangement, and zero answer to them. Then after that, it was actually before the pandemic, and during the pandemic, actually the pandemic hit during my study abroad, and I had a lot of time. So maybe I need to restart again. But it was 6 years ago. So until right now, I'm talking about traditional crafts and these kind of old companies, something. But my old career started only 6 years ago, and it started almost from the zero level. Right. So going back to my research about traditional craft. No, but by the way, how many of you have been to Japan? Oh, okay. 2. All right. All right. So percentage around 30%. Okay, very good. So those who have never been to Japan, please come to Japan. So this is a map of Japan. And well, Japan is, you see, I mean, so where total population is right now 125 million. I mean, the population is really huge, but territory itself is not so huge. So like almost same population as Russia, but the territory is, I don't know how many times smaller than Russia. So it's really packed country. And 75% is covered with mountain. So only 25% where people can live. I mean, of course, there are people who live in the mountains, but still, most of the population. And it's very interesting. So this line, so this line. So this is kind of closer to sea. Only this line, more than half of the population is living. And well, of course, I mean, we have these kind of north areas, the population is smaller usually. And Tokyo, where the total population of the greater Tokyo is around 30 million people. So only around this area, so 25% of population is living. So Japan is really kind of, I mean, shaped very strangely, especially after the war. So many people come to Tokyo. So today my focus is about Kyoto. This is around the kilometers run, I don't know, 450 kilometers. If you take a bullet train, it takes only 2 hours, but well, its distance is not so, I mean, not small. And Kyoto is a very city where, I mean, the capital of Japan has been located for quite a long time, so more than 1,000 years. And after that, so we. By the way, there is no law about there's no law about the capital of Japan. So there's no, I mean, nobody say that capital of Japan is Tokyo right now because there's no law on that. But we tentatively set Tokyo as a capital of Japan because our emperor is living in Tokyo. So yes, so this is the Kyoto. Yes, so here, so of course, I mean, yeah. By the way, I'm from Tokyo, but I decided to focus on Kyoto because I mean, Kyoto is more really cultural city and more in crafts exist until now. And by the way, if you have never been to Kyoto, I mean, these are kind of really typical pictures from Kyoto. And well, I mean, I don't know if you believe that this is kind of exaggerated with Foxtrot, but if you go to Kyoto during the autumn, well, it's really similar, almost same as that. And well, like the kind of these geisha people still walking around, I mean, especially in the special quarter. And this is golden temples, and also this is one of the street closer to the city center. So, by the way, I mean, it's very difficult to see these kind of things in Tokyo. So, I found that, if you want to study culture, maybe the Kyoto is the best place. And it was very, very, going back to my story. So I started to research, started to get interested in Japanese culture 6 years ago. And well, as I had plenty of time, I mean, during the pandemic, I decided to study Japanese traditional things. And I picked up, I mean, traditional, crafts, because I mean, maybe I wanted to start from the wabi-sabi, but it's too difficult, too philosophical questions. So I decided to focus on something that you can see, you can touch, and you can feel. And I thought Kyoto is very traditional city, and expected that there are so many traditional crafts. Yes, there are so many traditional crafts, but the problem is that, actually, it was I found only after the meeting with this guy. So this guy is the, traditional top spinning maker. So top spinning is like something like it's, I don't know, some kind of the extent, kind of, I don't know exactly you have a similar thing, but it's kind of, we play, it's kind of, And because during the pandemic, I sometimes visit Kyoto and started research about traditional craft. And by coincidence, the first visit to Kyoto, I met this guy. And this guy is actually unfortunately the final artisan of Kyoto's top spinning. So if he stops his business and one traditional craft disappears, and I found that why? Kyoto is it's really huge. It's really cultural heritage. And why he was only one person? And he asked me, when was the last time you played with top spinning? And it was obviously more than 30 years ago. So that's why. So, and he said that there are several traditional crafts which are endangered, not only about top spinning. And I took a look at on the internet for data, and this is kind of statistics of how the number of production and also production volume and also the number of employees and the people who engage in traditional crafts change in accordance with the time. So 1983 was a kind of hit, the record. And this is the statistics of 10 years ago. As of 10 years ago, the decline rate was it's almost this, so minus 80%. And of course, with the past 10 years, we had a lot of things, including the pandemic, a lot of pricing up because of the problem with Russia, and so many things. Right now as well, some problem in the Gulf Strait, and because of that, we many products pricing hugely high. And so this is the kind of statistics. So maybe past 2 or 3 years, that rate is minus 90% or even less. So I thought it's very problematic and it's very bad. And I asked this guy, so do you have any statistics about Kyoto, for example? This is kind of total volume of Japan. But do you know who is the last samurai, for example? Who is the last guy who is making that? He said, well, he can count several, but he doesn't have any specific statistics. And he recommended me to contact the Kyoto city government. And I made a call to the Kyoto city government and cultural heritage office or something. And they say, I asked, do you have any the latest statistics of how many people make this craft and how many people make that craft? And he said, the person of the department, he said that, we have it, but it was a statistic of the 40 years ago. And I said, it's 40 years, it's so long. So many things have changed. So which means that the latest information, nobody knows exactly. So, and most probably, even if he quits his job, nobody will be noticed because there's no data. And I thought this is very bad. I wanted to do something. Means that because it's really pity that by coincidence, I met this guy and he said, he confessed me to me that he's the last person. But without it, even I never noticed. You see, these kind of crafts disappear without any why nobody noticed it. And I found a kind of, not statistic, but kind of the project by in United Kingdom about this is a red list of endangered crafts. And honorary the president of this organization is King. And it was very informative, very nice. Presentation. It's a kind of book about how the traditional crafts in the United Kingdom you see disappearing as well. And I said, this is very informative. And why don't we have similar thing in Japan? And obviously, the reason is because nobody makes it. And I found it okay. So this is maybe I will make this. Because in Japan there are more than 2,000 traditional crafts in Japan. Maybe I cannot visit everything, but if I focus on Kyoto, the number is smaller, and actually the actual number is 74. So I think, okay, I will make by myself. And by the way, these are examples of the traditional crafts. I put it 68 traditional crafts because so the list of the traditional heritage of Kyoto, city of Kyoto is 74, but there are several, for example, Japanese sake, Japanese sweet, Japanese food. So these are non-material things. I mean, so I excluded non-material 6 and chose only 68 traditional crafts. By the way, do you know what is this? Maybe it's obvious. I mean, this is umbrella. I don't know if you have seen Japanese traditional dances called no. This is must. Do you know what is this? Oh, so it's actually it looks like plant. Well, by the way, this is made from paper. Yeah, so this is we call mizuhiki, but this is for the wedding decoration. Well, this is music instrument. This is I don't know exactly how it's called in English, but we usually put in the rooftop and to save the house, to protect the house from bad things. Yes. So I'm very motivated. I want to know more about Japanese, I mean, especially Kyoto traditional crafts. But unfortunately, I mean, not so many people agreed with my idea. I mean, everyone say that that's excellent idea. You should definitely do it. But everyone say that it's impossible. And I said, well, why? I mean, so there are 68 already clear in 68 traditional crafts. So as long as I could visit 68 all traditional crafts, and I could have understanding about current situation, right? But still, so many people say that no, it's impossible. And I ask, well, why? Why? And these people all, I mean, 100%. Some people from Tokyo, some people from Kyoto, some people from different cities. Everyone say that Kyoto is a very difficult city. And I ask, well, what do you mean by difficult city? And these people have an image that, oh, Kyoto people, I mean, it's very difficult to understand. And so this is actually one quiz from the TV show, one TV show. This is based on stereotype. It doesn't have to happen, but this is, well, I understand something is real is still continuing in Kyoto. So if you go, okay, so let's say if you're invited to a person, I mean Kyoto, right? And you stay, I don't know, 1 hour or 2 hours, and if the host says, I mean, do you want some coffee or tea, whatever? And okay, so these 4 ways of questioning, and but only 1 question means you can stay, but 3 questions means go home. So the first question: would you like some coffee? B: no need to rush. How about a cup of coffee first? C: is coffee okay with you? And D: you must be thirsty. Would you like some coffee? So here, okay, so imagine, I mean, Kyoto people is very difficult to understand. Difficult to understand means that it's really difficult to see what they are really thinking. Even though they say A, but the internal feeling is B, right? So in this case, really, I offer you coffee, but 3 means I really want you to go home. All right. So what do you think? I mean, any volunteer? I mean, it's very difficult. I mean, but by the way, one of the Chinese students actually showed this quiz to me, I mean, which was broadcast on TV, and I, within 1 minute, within 1 second, I chose the correct answer, but I showed my friends. I mean, for example, in Tokyo and also different cities, Kyoto as well. And those who are not outside Kyoto chose completely wrong answer. What do you think? So, B, you must be thirsty. Would you like some coffee? Means stay, okay? Right. Any other variant? Everyone agree with D or
Perhaps B.
B? No need to rush. How about a cup of coffee first? Okay. Okay, so B or D. Alright. Yeah, I'm very happy because B and D are very popular answers usually, and which is not correct answer as well. Well, A or C. Well, yeah, the actual answer is C. So here, once again, so the host wants this guy to go back home as soon as possible, but he cannot say. And here, what you are supposed to think is that this guy this host expect this guy to say no, no thank you. And D and D are very popular because it seems very, really polite. No need to rush. How about a cup of coffee first? It's really polite. You must be thirsty. Would you like some coffee? This is very polite as well. But background sentiment is that it's what A, B, D in common is that this is a question that you can expect yes or no to answer. Number C only, of course you can expect no, but quite probability is smaller. So let's say, no need to rush. How about a cup of coffee first? Oh, sorry. Thank you so much, offer, but it's time to leave. You must be thirsty. Would you like some coffee? No, I'm enough. Thank you so much. Would you like some coffee? No, it's okay. Thank you so much. But is coffee okay with you? Means that, I don't have any other choice. Of course, we can say just no, but obviously, is coffee okay with you, or is tea coffee okay with you? It's kind of the way of that, so that this person could stay longer. So it was very difficult. So this is one of the kind of example. The other example, for example, this is actually which I had is that I made a kind of proposal, kind of business proposal to one person in Kyoto, and he said that okay, let me consider. But even consider means 100% no. 100% no. This never happens, unfortunately. And I didn't know about that. So after 1 month, I asked him, did you consider already? But this means 100% no already. So it's really difficult. So I have to understand, is he really motivated about this project? Or is he reluctant to say, maybe he doesn't want to. Well, most probably you have similar culture maybe, but in our country, so this, especially in Kyoto, this kind of thing is really, really usual. Firstly, I didn't know about this, but later found that, this stereotype is actually based on some facts. And similar things, your kid has improved, maybe your neighbor says, your kid has improved at playing piano. What does it mean? What does it mean?
But it doesn't sound too good when a kid is playing the piano.
Oh, actually, that's also possible. But neighbor wants this. Wants you to do something. Yeah, exactly. So it's too noisy. And the usual Kyoto sentiment is that sorry, maybe. Even though it's without anything, just say that your kid plays very well. But is it disturbing you? So next question is does it okay? And the Kyoto people say, no, it's okay, we're totally fine, just notice it. But this means that stop right now. And that's a very nice watch you have, isn't it? If someone compliments your watch. You have a nice watch. You have a nice watch. Oh, sorry, it's almost too late. I have to go back right now. So this is kind of the communication is very popular. So by the way, this is coming from the internet meme. I'm not sure. So Kyoto, Osaka, Nara is kind of the city in a small region. We call it Kansai area. Each city is connected with only 20 or 30 minutes by train. So it's really close. But the mentality is completely different, especially like Kyoto, Osaka, even though they, by, I don't know, train, only 30 minutes difference, it's distance. It's right, so this look and how they look, how they interact like that. So right, obviously Kyoto people were very smiling, very nice. In the end, you have to be careful what really they are thinking. Of course, I don't want to talk about this in front of the Kyoto people because some of them are very angry with that. But as I stayed, 6 years in total, and coming usually commuting from Tokyo to Kyoto often, and talked about a lot of people in Kyoto. And this is not negatively speaking, but most people try not to speak. Tourists. And so they are very nice people. There is a reason why they do not speak openly. I'm going to speak about this later. But anyway, so very difficult city. And by the way, I should start this with that. So it took 1 year. It was very tough. But after 1 year, I visited 68 traditional crafts. First 40 was totally fine. But the rest of 20 very difficult without any connection. And some people say that, oh no, I don't want to talk with you. And I asked, so why? And he said that there's no meaning of that. Maybe you cannot be a savior of traditional craft. You cannot save anything. And he was right. He was correct. Even though I make this, the situation never stops. For example, if that guy is final artisan, and you see, I'm not good at making something, so I cannot take over his business. So it's really obvious that my research never helps with him. But specific flights I visited 3 times, or 2 times rejected, and third time already he said, okay, I'm going to talk. It was very tough, but still it was very precious experience. So sorry, I wanted to zoom in, but I'm not sure whether it's working. But so the thing is, if you see some red circle, red or orange, these are kind of the products which are in danger. And smaller circle, yellow, green, so far it's okay. And definition of problem and also so far okay means that, so I asked mainly 3 questions. So I'm going to show you this. So for example, we call shakuhachi, this is a bamboo flute, this is a music instrument. So I asked only 3 questions. Do you have any problem with the number of people who make that? Do you have any problem with material? And do you have any problem with instrument or tool to make your product? And if there are so many problems, so I put yellow, this is kind of problematic. So if I found problem in each, so in this case, shakuhachi bamboo flute is rural problems. So I put it, I think, yes, so let's conclude the red one. And if that's, for example, if some problem with the number of people who make that, the material instrument is solved, but okay, I put yellow. So this is more or less really, and by the way, this is more or less a qualitative research. So I asked, do you think this is a problem or not? And if he said this is a problem, I put yellow. And I even found a kind of the traditional crafts artisan who is the last person who makes this. And he said, there's no problem. And I asked how it's possible. If you stop this, that's going to be you're the last final one. And he said, no problem. So as long as he said no problem, I couldn't put yellow on this slide. So it's kind of the really qualitative approach. It's not, I wanted it more like the very quantified, so how many people exactly make that craft. But the problem is that not so many, let's say, shakuhachi case is very, very easy because this is only one family which makes this, and father and so on. So it's very easy. but there are several kind of traditional crafts, and even nobody knows how many people make even in the city, because usually these kind of craft people do not associate, do not communicate with each other. So that's why my research was possible, because everyone is actually really interested in how other people make this craft and that craft, but you see, they do not ask directly to these people. So finally decided I visit everything, and everyone said that, oh, this kind of research has never been done before, because nobody wanted to do it. But it was for me, it was very, interesting. Okay, going back to research. So what I'm doing is that this is visit 68 traditional crafts, ask the situation, and put kind of map. But I have one kind of in the center. Sorry, it's really small. I put so some of the kind of traditional culture, mainly non-material culture, such as traditional, temples, Shintoism shrine, traditional dances, and geisha people, and festival, and flower arrangement, and tea ceremony. And the reason is that so many people say that, oh, we need to save crafts. Later, I found that, so when I was working in Japanese company, I used to export Japanese products, especially machine, a Japanese car, automobile industry. I was working with the automobile industry. And there is one city called Toyota. Well, most probably most residents are people related with Toyota's company. And found that, oh, it's really, the situation of Kyoto and Toyota City is very similar. For example, in order to make one automobile, so one Lexus or Toyota car, whatever, you need minimum 30,000 parts. So 30,000 smaller parts make one bigger car. And there's several different kind of factories which makes the bigger parts and smaller parts. And there's material. Material is usually steel. And there's one kind of the sport and also steel maker that's next to the city. And they create material in smaller parts, bigger parts, and make one large Toyota's automobile. Likewise, so my first motivation was how to save craft. But later found that craft is also not the final end product. So someone definitely used that. So in this case, with some cup, I mentioned about ceramic cup, it's obviously used by this kind of people. So this is tea ceremony, and that is flower arrangement. And of course, and also these traditional arts are usually performed in the Shintoism shrine and also temples. So in this case, my understanding is that, okay, so, and of course raw material. Raw material means that Kyoto has goods clay and also goods water. So that's why you can make a good ceramic. But likewise, different kind of craft of the same situation. So in order to save the traditional crafts, maybe we need to take a look at how the non-material culture are connected with each other. And so that's why, so this is the blue line, is how each traditional craft is connected with the traditional non-material culture. And my conclusion is that very important element is temples and tea ceremony. Because, I mean, these two non-material culture have used so many, not more than half, but almost half of the crafts in Kyoto. All right, so going back to this, so about bamboo flutes. So, well, the number of people who make bamboo flutes is right now only 2 people in Kyoto, and in Japan, I think less than 10 people. And most of them should be more than 70 years old. It's very difficult. But in maybe 10 years, 20 years, I don't know what happens. And also, these artisans say that, oh, bamboo is a problem. Bamboo is very, very big problem. But how, I ask how Asia without bamboo is possible? Because I mean, if you go to Japan, you can see a lot of bamboo almost everywhere. But the problem is that in order to make this flute, you need really straight bamboo. But straight bamboo is usually very difficult to reach it. And usually there are several people who only make bamboo. Bamboo is kind of also vegetable kind of. There are several farming area of the straight bamboos. And the problem is that the number of people, you see, especially those who want to do this job, is getting smaller. It's very obvious reason because, you see, it's very difficult to go to the mountain and plant bamboo. So bamboo grows very fast. So you need to go to almost every day. Otherwise, after 2 days, it's kind of like it's a huge tower. So you see, it's also a problem. So that's why these days, those who make this flute go to mountains by themselves and find good bamboos. But it's really difficult to find it. And even though he could find it, if he just cuts the bamboo, he will go to jail because this is crime. So he needs to make a call to those who have land of that and get permission that I want this bamboo. Can I use that? Most probably they will get yes, but still it's huge work. And one bamboo flute is almost everything is handmade. Is usually 2,000 USD. And initially I thought it's too expensive, but later I found out it's too cheap, considering the hard work even from the material. But more than 30, 40 years ago, it was very easier because there are several people who take care of the bamboo forest. Only just you can buy from that guy. And these artisans focus only on production. But nowadays it's not working. Right, and also the instrument, in order to make kind of the bamboo flute, they need polishing bar, so it's polishing, this kind of special polishing bar. And this is also very difficult because nowadays not so many people order this bar because the number of people who engage in bamboo traditional craft is decreasing. So in the end, what happens is that once this guy ordered the polishing bar for one company which makes this. And this company said that, okay, we can accept your order, but you need to order minimum 50 bars. And it was very funny that, you see, the usual artisan uses 3 bars in his whole life. So, I don't know, he needs to buy for the 70th generation. So it's really huge amount. So in the end, it's very difficult. So what happens is that those who stop working, let's say, making that, you can get polishing bars or different instruments from this guy. Someone give up, and the other artisan go to him and can I use this? Continue to use it. So it's really kind of very manual work. Well, this is kimono as well. This is more like which I wear. But kimono is also kind of in crisis. In crisis means that because of several, usually it's huge industry. It's huge industry, but this is actually it's divided into 16 kind of production process, and it's very interesting thing is that each production process has its own kind of people. So those who are, you see, there are several artisans who make only who takes over only like 6, 8, 11. So which means in order to make one kimono, I mean minimum 16 people who are kind of divided production. So, but the problem is that if someone says, okay, number 9, I'll take over number 9, but I'm tired, so I'm going to finish. What happens is that, you see, the whole production is going to come to halt, stop. The better case is that, okay, number 8 person, okay, I'm going to take over number 9 as well. But usually they do not talk about how they produce because everything is divided. If you ask this question, maybe people get, do you think about it? Are you are you going to be my competitor or something? So everything is divided. So that's why people hide the production process. I mean, especially about, you see, the most important part. Because of that, right now, this kind of problem is happening not only kimono, but also some crafts or even some industries which are relying on divided kind of the making process is also very difficult. Shuttle, for example, instrument shuttle, it's unfortunately one guy who, he was the last person and he died a couple of years ago. So right now, no more new shuttle possible to make. And the shuttle is, I couldn't understand as well, I mean, because shuttle is everywhere. I mean, because I mean, as long as you have clothes industry, I mean, you should have shuttles. But Kyoto people, I mean, not only Kyoto people, but also those who engage in clothing industry, the traditional clothing industry, say that this shuttle have to be made from wood. So there's kind of, I don't know, different chemical materials. I mean, you can make something like shuttle, but according to them, the wooden-made shuttle doesn't create heat, and usually heat its shuttle goes like that. And if they go to shuttle, it's, I don't know, this is kind of physics class, but it creates a heat, and that heat creates problem for the thread, and in the end, which damage the kind of quality of the material. So if that is made from shuttle, made from the wood, that's it's heat and the temperature is lower than the kind of the different materials. So everyone says that this shuttle shall be made from wood. But the only last person who made that wooden shuttle died a couple of years ago. So yeah, so right now nobody knows. So everyone said, okay, so I have no idea, I have no other option. Okay, I'm going to use the chemical material, but still, some people say that it's of course better if we use wooden shuttle. Yeah, and this is mirror. By the way, I brought this today, and well, it's really beautiful mirror. It's polished by hand. And it's usually I have there's one interesting secret in that, but as it's too bright right now, so if you put the light on that, something will happen. It's secret, but I don't know. Later, if obviously today maybe until 9 o'clock, it's quite very sunny. But I mean later, if there's possibility, I'm going to show you if you are the light. It's really bright. But so this is also from the Kyoto's artisan. And by the way, this guy is the right now final artisan. So the number of people who make this traditional mirror is very decreasing. I mean, obviously less than 5 people in Japan, and he doesn't have any students. So most probably, and he doesn't have any students. He doesn't have any sons. So most probably this tradition is going to disappear within 30 years. But so yes, I put this problem as a process. The number of people very small, and also that I even didn't know that. So this is made from metals, so copper, tin, and zinc. And in order to polish it, initially I thought this polished by cloth. But not really. It's actually polished by charcoal. Charcoal, I mean, it's charcoal is when you apply it to wood, it's charcoal. And I couldn't understand what is the meaning of it, polished by charcoal. But actually, it's actually like that. And the number, actually this, and he said, according to him, he needs a special charcoal, which is called surugatsu charcoal. This is one kind of sort of the charcoal. No other charcoals that's for the barbecues doesn't work very well. So only one house right now makes this charcoal, and if that house stops making charcoal, he doesn't know how to polish this craft, this mirror. So These kind of so many problems, multiple 68. So at least, unfortunately, there's no products which don't have any problems. But so, at least I was very fortunate that at least I could understand what kind of problems they have in traditional craft industry, especially in Kyoto. But if the situation in Kyoto is like that, most probably situation in other cities worse than in Kyoto, because Kyoto is the most cultural city in Japan. Okay, so I come back to the I'm coming to the almost conclusion part. And so today my topic is about culture, about traditional through the traditional crafts, and I prepared 2 and 3 conclusions. The first conclusion is that after I visited so many times Kyoto, I found Kyoto is very, very, very Japanese city. And what I want to say about Japanese city is that Kyoto is very, unique city, or really dense city comparing with other cities in Japan, about how individuality and harmony as a kind of thing, or like the individualistic way of life and collective way of life are coexisted together. So maybe you have an image that Japanese people are really collective. Yes, correct. I agree with that. But this is only half part of the Japanese society. So, I prepared a quiz about the Kyoto people do not speak. Directly. And why? What do you think? Why? Of course, it's easier. Everyone will feel easier, right? If you say, "Are you hungry?" "Yes, I'm hungry." "And let's go to dinner." It's very easy. But even there's a kind of the habit that if Kyoto people, invite you to dinner, you have to decline more than 2 times, minimum 2 times, right? So it's super, inconvenient, not only for Kyoto people but also for Japan. For Japanese people, and of course for foreigners also as well. But why? Why people do not speak directly? Well, it's really actually, of course, difficult question. And also, there should be so many different perspectives. But this is my personal feeling, personal understanding. Kyoto is really perfectly sized operation. So it's really perfect sized society. So 1.4 million seems very huge. But if people, and people in Kyoto knows quite each other. So let's say if I say that, okay, so I want to meet someone, and even there is a problem that if you ask 3 people, you can get connected with anyone in Kyoto. Well, according to different versions, if you have contact with 7 people, you can be connected with everyone in the world. But so it's similar like that. So, but it's true actually. And unable to relocate. So a good case is this shop. So this shop opened 500 years ago, and which means that this family stayed in this house, in this run for 500 years. And it's difficult to relocate, right? So if you have lived for more than 500 years in a specific place, it's really difficult to move to a different city, right? It's more like, technically you can, but you see, you have more risks because you don't know about different cities, right? And if not only this shop, but also anyone means that, of course, Kyoto is very open city, so many newcomers as well. But old members stay in the same place. And if everyone knows each other, everyone knows that, oh, this guy is from that shop, that guy is from that craft artisan family. Of course, it's very difficult to have a problem, for example, with neighbors especially. So, and that's why people really are sensitive to public opinion. Public opinion means that this is not general opinion, but also how other people in the community, speak about yourself especially. So my friends, one of the friends from Kyoto say that when he was a kid, the most often advised by the by the parents with that behave very well, so that nobody will point out. And so if you behave something wrong, then that information spreads very quickly. So in this kind of collective society, of course, it's very difficult to speak openly. If you have, let's say, I like your T-shirt, I don't like your fashion, it's going to be a problem for the next generation, of course. So I later found that, so they are really peaceful people, and they do not want any problems, so that because they are really committed to the city. But let's say I'm from Tokyo. Tokyo is really huge, 30 million people, and if you have a problem with a specific person, there's so many different people, right? So I think this kind of local part is really, really typical in Kyoto city. But at the same time, Kyoto is very, very interesting city, because I say about Kyoto is very open city. Open city means that one of the examples is that they love new things. According to statistics, the consumption rate of the coffee and bread, actually the highest is in Kyoto. So there's so many cafes, there's so many bread shops everywhere in Kyoto. And I found out, well, where's miso soup, where's rice? No, I mean, they love more bread and also toast, and they love more Western food. And so if you go to Kyoto restaurant, I mean, there's so many Western food as well. Chinese restaurants, French restaurants, Italian restaurants, and they are perfectly very nice. And price is very good, I mean, very competitive. Main reason is that, of course, because everyone knows each other, and everyone has a rumor, okay, this shop, it was very, very good, the shop was very, very bad. That kind of rumor spreads very, very, very quickly. So, and in the end, so according to research of Japanese social psychologists, says many Japanese hold the following view: I myself do not think collectively, but the other people around me do so. Therefore, if I behave individualistically, those around me will decide me. So this is really, I think this is really reflecting the sentiment of Japanese, and I feel very, very, very. So the mostly people are really individualistic. Like, I like this, I like that, but they cannot openly show that. So that's why they, even though they do not say openly about something, but they still have some specific aesthetic, some kind of sentiment. So that's why, imagine if the culture itself is such place. I mean, you see, everyone behaves same, everyone lives collectively. Unfortunately, you see, I mean, you cannot flourish the culture. So if you take a look at only the collective way of life, I think people are missing one important part. Most important thing is the Japanese really selfish, really self-centered, really, really love themselves. And they really certain about their own aesthetic way of living. But they cannot say in front of everyone, because if I say too much, everyone doesn't like me. And this actually really reflects, I believe, I found this after my research and 3 years research in Kyoto. I hope, I don't know, my fellow Japanese will agree with that, but I still believe so. Okay, and this is the final conclusion. So going back to the first question. So what is cultural values? And well, I'm listing up, because this is especially, I'm sorry, there's so many sentences, but there's so many cultural values. This is really depending on people, actually. And this is related with history, this is related with the artisans, how they spend time and also money for that, and also effort as well. And also this is a collective memory of the past generation, and this is a gift for the next generations. So many reasons. And going back to my first question, so what is culture and why culture matters? This is really, you see, depending on people. And I think this is very nice. And if everyone say that, culture is important because of that reason, you see, that kind of society will never flourish. Because you see a lot of the values, a lot of understanding about something, a lot of understanding about history and products that could create a society very diversified and very, very sustainable. So in the end, for me, of course, for one cup of ceramic cup, for one cup of ceramics, 250 USD is of course very huge expense. But at least I see that it's worth, and once I will become billionaire, I'm going to buy as many ceramics as possible, and not only ceramics, but also different kinds of traditional crafts in Japan. And so, okay, so if you have any question at this moment, I mean, I'd love to answer. If you don't have any question, then that's also possible. Don't worry about that. I never force you to speak up.
Thank you for your presentation, Christian. Now we have approximately 15 minutes for questions, so you're welcome. I have a question. You talked about those like small craft workshops and those craft specialists, and how these craft traditions are declining,
Yes.
right? But what about like craft education, like in craft schools, craft high schools, and so on? Is this how about the situation in craft education?
Okay, so thank you so much for the question, and I think this is very important because usually we have, as far as I know, in Kyoto there are 3 institutions where you can learn about traditional crafts, and I think one is under Kyoto city government, and 2 most probably obviously funded by Japanese government, but I don't think fully, but still there's kind of 2 kind of the university so I think 2 years study program there, and also there's several art universities as well, not only in Kyoto but in other cities for Japan. So these are the kind of main institutes where you can learn about traditional crafts. But I don't think it's enough because, for example, traditional clothes like kimono, it's a huge industry. So there are so many people who want to learn that. So I mean, these education institutes, obviously they give special points of classes for, let's say, traditional clothes, for example. But for example, this bamboo flute, I mean, shakuhachi, I mean, it's of course, I mean, some of the music universities, you see, teaches about that, but maybe they do not pay attention to how this product is made. So those who are making mainstream products, in our cases, mainstream product is traditional clothes and also wood, some wood kind of the wood material. These are very popular because of the industry is really huge. But some of the crafts which do not have enough kind of the market do not have a specific way of that, a specific way of learning. So maybe 30 years or 40 years ago, the style of the learning, the new traditional craft is that these people visit this teachers or masters, and they stay in their houses. And of course, they don't get any salary, but they are secured with sometimes food, sometimes some different kind of small kind of expenditure. And after 10 years, they graduate and open their workshops. So this is not only about traditional crafts, but if you talk about maybe sushi restaurant, was really similar to that, or kind of different kind of the jobs which require the kind of skills. Basically, that was kind of how the people get to know about traditional crafts or kind of this skill set. But nowadays, it's really outdated. So it's very difficult for artisans, with the masters, to take care of them because they do not have enough money for that. And of course, for students as well, they want kind of the annual salary, for example. But of course, it's difficult. So in this case, I mean, those who are hyper motivated maybe will run from them, but its ratio is very, very small because this is not kind of it's as a working condition, this is not well equipped. So mainly we have some institutes, but it's not enough for every counter of the traditional crafts, because the way of the learning new skills are very changed for the past, especially for 30 years. Oh, yeah.
You were talking, and thank you first.
Thank you.
Very much for the second talk. First, you talked a lot, or you talked mainly about traditional craft.
Yes.
But what about the modern craft?
Oh.
Does it exist, and where is the border between the traditional craft and the modern craft?
I see. Oh, thank you so much. So the modern crafts, I think exist. It sure exists, and most probably they are taught in these art universities. But as far as I understand, these modern, so this is kind of my understanding. There is no difference. I mean, no border between modern and all traditional things, because usually modern products get inspired from something from the past. Like Picasso was a kind of great painter, but he mastered every kind of the classical way of painting something, and then he started to be really ingenious way of the paint. He invented a very ingenious way of painting. Similarly, so there's kind of the modern crafts, such as, let's say, sometimes contemporary. If you go to contemporary arts kind of exhibition, you'll see plenty of it. But most probably they learned like a kind of basic at university. And basic means that if the material is wood, and there are so many wood materials and crafts in Japan, so they should get inspired from them. But the problem right now is that it's this kind of but still I see the kind of there is a border, because it's let's say modern artists and traditional artisans live completely different way of life, and the main reason is that for example, the mentality is completely different. So artist is more like okay, this is my expression, this is my work. But artisans don't want to say about that, because let's say the kimono is a good example. So the 16 people make one kimono, and if number 9 say that this is my work, and maybe the number 8 say that, oh well, that's right, but this is also the contribution. There should be contribution of the 8th, and also 10th, 11th, like that. So let's say if you, it's really famous that even though people have the career of 50 years or 60 years, their name is not on the product. Nobody knows who made this. So because of that, people, let's say, who are very traditional people, think that working with artists is not kind of a good combination. But these days, the situation is actually changing. For example, this mirror maker, he is 50 years old. 50 is very young in this industry, and he is really active about cooperating with, less modern artists, because this is firstly, this is very creative. So some artists don't know kind of the common sense of the traditional industry, so they order something very strange. With very strange work that needs really unusual skill set. And some people say that no, this is not my work. But some people like him say that, oh, this is a great chance. Maybe this is a great way of learning a new skill set. So for some people, working with modern artists is a very good chance. But still, you see, not so many people are really ambitious, and not so many people have courage to deep inside this kind of traditional craft, because they also feel that, oh, I don't know anything about material, because there should be some more specialists, so maybe I should focus on my kind of own world. So I'm not sure whether I could answer properly, but there is kind of the corroboration, but not enough yet.
I wanted to ask about the buyers.
Okay.
Do you know who are the main buyers who are buying?
Okay.
For example, in Kyoto, is the tourists also important?
I see. So it's Sorry, I cannot zoom in, but these are the main buyers. So this is kind of existing. Historical buyers. So traditional temples. Buddhism temples, Shintoism shrines, and also tea ceremony masters, floral arrangement masters. These kind of people. So these kind of people have like one mutual thing. So mutual common. So these were actually replaced with the modern artists, or even some Louis Vuitton, for example. So previously, those was the tea ceremony master. Tea ceremony master seems just to make a tea. Well, actually, it's correct, but it's not really like that. So those who have excellent aesthetic like kind of view. So if this guy says, this master says that this is tasty, this is very tasty. If this guy says that this is not good, this product is not good, this product is not good, which means to those who can decide which is beautiful, and which is not beautiful. But nowadays, so these are kind of main buyers, but these are obviously, maybe some of them are tourists, some of them are kind of different factors. But at least tourist is not still main kind of client, because for them, tourist is not sustainable client. So for example, during the pandemic, everyone went away. For them, the most important thing is who is a really regular customer. Even the amount is really small. They value who is a real client, who never escapes from them. So, and also another problem is that, let's say, some of the products could be fit for purpose for the tourists. But let's say shakuhachi versus bamboo flute. Some tourists want, I want this 2,000 USD. Okay, it's very cheap. I want to buy that. It could be possible, but its probability is very smaller. But some products such as it's a fan. It's fan. I don't know. Fan. Right. Tourists can have access to it. So for those producers, tourists is very good clients. But original, this is main the buyer is a tea ceremony masters and also geisha people, and of course, different like local Kyoto like people. So gradually it's changing, but still mainly their client is not oriented toward tourists only.
Thank you. One more.
Oh yes, please.
So you connected mainly the traditional crafts with the skills which are given from one generation to another, and from master to
Yes.
the apprenticeship. Is it possible somehow also that that traditional craft can somehow be renewed, or that you don't have this, you don't get the skills from the master, but you are learning yourself, or this is not possible? I see. Thank you for the question. So this is the, nowadays, if you take a look at, for example, YouTube, you can learn like how to make, for example, specific crafts. And well, actually, it's really Eastern way of life, but let's say, so some of the, I also interviewed tea ceremony houses and also traditional dance houses. They don't like manualizing. So manualizing means that, okay, so this is first pattern A, B, C, D, and you can give a good tea, or you can dance completely. So, but some of the houses do not like that, because, it's not, you see, the how to perform is not important. It's the most important thing is that your life is into the form. And even though you think or not, you behave, you dance perfectly. This is their ultimate goal. So even though you know by knowledge how to do 1, 2, 3, 4, but for these houses, for these people, it's not important. But nowadays, of course, if you take a look at YouTube, you plenty of this kind of data, and I see some of people create very interesting work, and it's really end of that, I mean, kind of the traditional period. So, I mean, let's say if 10 years ago, if someone does like that, everyone says that, oh, this is very bad. This is not genuine. This is just a kind of the artistic work. I mean, it's your individual work. But nowadays, it's everyone is in crisis. So if you want to continue, please, I mean, do so. But please, I mean, observe very carefully, and please, I mean, preserve the really basic. And arranging is also, I mean, it's up to you. So, but of course, really depending on the industry. Then some tea ceremony industries, there's still so many people. If you create your own kind of the new way of tea serving, maybe you're going to be in trouble. But let's say, yeah, different kind of traditional crafts. I mean, nobody does it. Even there are several crafts already extinct. I mean, nobody does it. Of course, you can start. Because, I mean, you cannot learn from anyone because you don't have any master. So for this kind of unfortunately, the number of these kind of products is growing. And I think that everyone has access to it. And it's the kind of traditional craft industry maybe democratized, I mean, more and more. But it's still kind of the really transition period. I think that 10 years or 20 years more are necessary. But already there are people who who start this kind of initiative.
Thank you so much.
Right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.